Hi, this is Rick, your recording whiz from recordingwiz.com. In this particular tutorial, I'm going to quickly show you how to actually add an effect to your audio track. Notice I am armed, so I'm going to unarm that, meaning that I'm not going to record. We're done with our recording, and if I hit the play button, you'd be able to hear that. The first thing I want to do is make sure, now notice when I click on these other tracks that they turn green. That means they're active tracks. So now I'm going to click on voice 1 so that it's green, and then I'm going to click on, there's a little FX button or effects button. So if I click that, notice what happens. It pops up a little window here. It says track 1, voice 1, effect list. So what we want to do is we want to choose an effect. Now I'm not going to go through every sound effect that you can add to your voice, because believe me, this is one of the awesome things with Mixcraft. Like GarageBand, if you're using a Mac, Mixcraft does have a number of preset sound effects or a type of built-in effects processor. And so if you click on this, just scroll over and click on the drop down here on this window, notice it gives you several different effects sets that you can choose from, if that's the proper term. Now, just for purposes of this, say I recorded my line, but it wasn't quite as loud as I wanted it to be, so I wanted to boost it a little bit. You could click on the one of these compressors, and I'll just go down and choose the classic compressor. So if I click it, it pops it into place here. It gives it a check here, meaning that it will be active, and it defaults to vocal. But if I click that drop down within the classic compressor, there's several different effects that you can choose, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave it on vocal. But say I wanted vocal definition, and what that's going to do is that's going to actually really bring out the voice and make it very crisp, boost it a little bit. And if I want to change that particular preset, I can click on the edit button, and it gives me, notice, a little mixing buttons per se, where you can actually adjust it, and you can actually adjust this to sound exactly the way you want it to sound, and then click save right here. And what it'll do is it'll save your preset however you've left it, and you just need to enter a preset name. So it can be your name, whatever. Okay, and it saves it right under the classic compressor. I'm not going to do that for now, and I'm going to leave things as they are. So I've got the classic compressor, and once I'm done with that, I will just hit the X button. And if I play back, well, let's try it once without using the classic compressor and see if we can hear a difference. You may or may not be able to hear this, but if I go back and I hit the play button, I click it, and notice what happens immediately. Notice that the sound wave. Okay, you can hear my voice speaking a little bit, and this is probably not a really easy thing for me to do here with this little screen recording that I'm doing. But nevertheless, I'm going to click classic compressor to activate that particular sound, and let's go back and let's see what it sounds like. I click it, and notice what happens immediately. Notice that the sound waves. The first one sounded just fairly normal. The second one, once I clicked on classic compressor and activated this effect, what it did was it kind of brought the voice a little bit louder, and it did exactly as it said. It added vocal definition. You could hear the little crispy sounds in my voice and things of that nature. So if you really want to bring the voice out, here's one preset for you. Okay, so say I wanted to add a little bit of different effect. Maybe I want to add some reverb to my voice. So you've got several drop downs, and I'm going to add another effect on top of the other one to that voice. So I click on it, and for this purpose I'm going to add some reverb. So I'm going to come down, and you can choose any of these and look through them. I would suggest that you do it. Play around with the different effects. You know, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this. Again, one of the great things with Mixcraft. But for this, I'm going to click Classic Reverb, and that pops that into place. It checks the box for you automatically, and it says default, but I'm going to click something different. If you look and click on the drop down for the types of classic reverb, notice there's all kinds here. And because I am a singer, I use this a lot when I use Mixcraft, several of these. I certainly use the vocal ambient many times, but just for purposes of this, let's say I'm going to use a small hall. So what that's supposed to do is that's supposed to add the effect to the voice like you're actually speaking in a hallway or maybe a small auditorium or something of that nature. So now that I've got that one clicked and active, I'm going to rewind here and I'm going to click play again. Let's see if we can hear the difference. Okay, if you can hear that, there's my voice speaking, and it added a nice echo to that. And again, with the small hall, if you didn't like, you kind of liked it, but you wanted to tweak it a little bit, you could click the edit button, and it would take you right back to another little kind of classic reverb knob board. I don't know exactly what you call it. I guess you can kind of call it a mixer or whatever, but you can adjust these knobs and listen to the sound however you like and save your preset to be whatever you like. So just click the X to get out of that. Alright, and I'm going to add one more effect just for the purposes of this demonstration. Let's say we want to add a little delay to the voice. So I'm going to click on the effect drop down again, and it's going to add another one to this. And so I click on, let's say, I don't know, let's see what Acoustica delay is, and it's defaults to custom, but I'm going to click down and see what, let's see what this, how about Robotico to see what it sounds like. So I'm going to click Robotico, and that's activated because you see the check marks here, and then I'm going to rewind to the beginning, and I'm going to click play. So let's see if we can hear this. It does kind of give it a robotic sound, but let me change that to, how about stutter? Let's see what that sounds like. So again, rewind, play. Very subtle. And again, you can adjust these however. Let's see what flam flam is, just to give you a better example, hopefully. Again, it's not very, it's still pretty subtle, so let me change the Acoustica delay. Let's go down to classic delay, which I have used several times. And I'm going to click, how about ping pong? Let's see what that sounds like. Rewind and hit play again. Okay, now I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that definitely made a difference in the sound. And what it did was, in the background, you heard this lighter sounding echo of my voice that you couldn't hear before. At any rate, you can play around with that, do whatever you'd like. But these are just three that I use quite a bit when I'm recording my vocals, specifically when I'm singing. But you can certainly use them when you're recording a podcast or any kind of little audio for your blog or website. It's quite effective. Whenever you're done with this, oh, one other thing, you can, if you click on this, click the whole line, notice it outlines it for you. The whole little bottom classic delay is outlined. And if I want to move that, say that I want that the first effect that hits, I can move it up by clicking this little button up here, or the down button, and it moves the selected effect up or down. Notice now the first thing that's going to process is going to be the delay. Let's see if that makes a difference in the sound. Rewind and hit play. Oh yeah, that makes a huge difference in sound. I don't know if you can tell or not from listening through this little mic, but what it does is it processes that particular effect first and then runs the others. So by rearranging your effects, you can definitely change the sound even when you're using the same effects at the same time. So there you have it. That's one way to do it. And when you're done with the effects, you just click the X button, and notice the FX button stays highlighted. That means that this particular track up here has effects that will be processed whenever you hit the play button. And you just go back, hit play, and you're still hearing those effects. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. This is just a quick overview of how to add an effect to your voice with Mixcraft.